Hey guys, so for those of you who don't know me, good morning, happy Friday. My name is Kenzie. I'm from Crestwood, Kentucky, and Heidi and I met forever ago. I was probably like 12 or 13. I'm a writer and a literary agent, and I graduated from Taylor University a couple of years ago. So the psalm I have for you guys today is Psalm 27, and the She Reads Truth Bible Study calls it a prayer against anxiety, which really stuck out to me immediately because anxiety is something I really struggle with, especially in times like this in the world where things seem more out of control or really worrisome. And so I feel like this psalm it's very important to me. And I feel like it's we did talk about it before in the previous part of the Psalms Bible study, but it's really necessary and I think really beautiful. So I'm glad that we're getting to talk about it again. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and read that and then talk a little bit about some of the points that I pulled out of it. So I'm reading this from the ESV. Psalm 27, the Lord is my light and my salvation, of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me to eat up my flesh, my adversaries and foes, it is they who stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise against me, yet I will be confident. One thing I have asked of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. He will lift me high upon a rock. And now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me, and I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud. Be gracious to me and answer me. You have said, seek my face. My heart says to you, your face, Lord, do I seek. Hide not your face from me. Turn not your servant away in anger, O you who have been my help. Cast me not off, forsake me not, O God of my salvation. For my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path because of my enemies. Give me not up to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, and they breathe out violence. I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. So in the Bible study, which I would definitely encourage you to read if you get the chance, it talks a little bit about how this psalm isn't saying that hard or fearful or painful things will never happen in our life. In fact, there's a really good chance, I would say probably a certainty that they will. And in this psalm, the things that David is going through are really difficult. He's got a lot of enemies who are trying to kill him and people who are making up rumors about him and false things. And he's not saying that none of those things aren't happening or that none of those things are painful, but he's saying that even in those difficult situations, we have a place where we can run. We have a rock and a God who will protect us. And I think that's really important for me to remember because sometimes it can be easy to just wish that things like this weren't happening, or to imagine that once we're Christians that our life will be totally easy and smooth sailing or whatever, and that's not true. There will still be storms in our life and there will still be things that are valid to be terrified of. And God isn't saying that we'll never have something to be afraid of, but he is saying that when we do, we'll have a place where we can run and someone that we can rely on, and that's him. And so that's something that I think is really beautiful about this psalm. Another thing that is one of my favorite things about it, the verse that stuck out to me last time, which is still the verse that I loved this time, is verse 13, which says, I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And what really came to my mind about that is that I don't think that specific series of words is an accident. I don't think he said land of the living just, because it rhymed or fit into the poetic structure or something. I think he used that phrase specifically to remind us that yes, things will be amazing when we get to heaven. Things will be amazing when Christ sets up his reign on earth. But that's not the only good we have to look forward to. We have good to look forward to here also, even when things are bad, even even when things are hard. God hasn't left us alone. This isn't just like a throwaway trial period for the rest of eternity. God intends for us to be here. He intends for us to live our lives here, no matter how short or long they are. And He intends for us to enjoy them and love them. And that doesn't mean that, like I said, that painful or terrifying things won't happen, because they will. But good and beautiful and lovely things will happen too. And I think it's really remiss of us to just sort of skip past that. Even in times like this that seem really dark and where it seems like the news is just getting worse every day, there's still beautiful things. There's still sunrises, and there's still leaves coming out on the trees and new flowers blooming. And I think it's so important that we pay attention to those things, that we remember those things, because those are the things that will keep us holding on through really tough times in our life, or that will keep us from falling apart when things feel like they're really difficult and hard to handle. So those are just my thoughts. I hope you can carry this psalm with you today. And I hope you have a great Friday, and I'll see you next week.